Hare Krishna. Now we will continue with our reading from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 45, entitled Laughing Ecstasy. The Nectar of Devotion was written by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and it was published by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. In the fourth division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami has described 7 kinds of indirect ecstasies of devotional service, such as laughing, astonishment, chivalry, compassion, anger, dread, and ghastliness. In this portion, Srila Rupa Goswami further describes these ecstasies of devotional feelings, some being compatible and others incompatible with one another. When one kind of ecstatic devotional service overlaps with another in a conflicting way, this state of affairs is called rasabhas, or a perverted presentation of mellows. Expert learned scholars say that laughing is generally found among youngsters or in the combination of old persons and young children. This ecstatic loving laughing is sometimes also found in persons who are very grave by nature. Once an old mendicant approached the door of Mother Yashoda's house, and Krishna told Yashoda, quote, "My dear mother, I don't wish to go near this skinny villain. If I go there, he might put me within his begging bag and take me away from you." End quote. In this way, the wonderful child Krishna began to look at his mother, while the mendicant who was standing at the door tried to hide his smiling face, although he could not do so. He immediately expressed his smiling. In this instance, Krishna himself is the object of loving affairs. Once one of Krishna's friends informed him, quote, "My dear Krishna, if you will open your mouth, then I shall give you one nice sugar candy mixed with yogurt." End quote. Krishna immediately opened his mouth, but instead of giving him sugar candy with yogurt, the friend dropped a flower in his mouth. After tasting this flower, Krishna turned his mouth in a disfigured way, and upon seeing this, all his friends standing there began to laugh very loudly. Once a palmist came to the house of Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj asked him, quote, "My dear sage, will you kindly check the hand of my child, Krishna? Tell me how many years he will live, and whether he will become the master of 1,000 cows." End quote. Upon hearing this, the palmist began to smile, and Nanda Maharaj asked him, quote, "My dear sir, why are you laughing, and why are you covering your face?" End quote. In such a laughing ecstasy of love, Krishna, or matters pertaining to Krishna, are the cause of the laughter. In such laughing devotional service, there are symptoms of jubilation, laziness, concealed feelings, and similar other seemingly disturbing elements. According to Srila Rupa Goswami's calculation, laughter and ecstatic love can be broken down into 6 divisions. These divisions, according to different degrees of smiling, are called in the Sanskrit language smita, hasita, vihasita, avahasita, apahasita, and atihasita. These 6 classes of smiling can be classified as major and minor. The major division includes smita, hasita, and vihasita smiling, and the minor division includes avahasita, apahasita and atihasita, smiling. When one is smiling, but his teeth are not visible, one can distinctly mark a definite change in the eyes and in the cheeks. This is called smita smiling. Once when Krishna was stealing yogurt, Jarati, the head mistress of the house, could detect his activities, and she was therefore coming very hurriedly to catch him. At that time, Krishna became very much afraid of Jarati and went to his elder brother Baladev. He said, quote, "My dear brother, I have stolen yogurt. Just see, Jarati is coming hurriedly to catch me." End quote. When Krishna was thus seeking the shelter of Baladev because he was being chased by Jarati, all the great sages in the heavenly planets began to smile. This smiling is called smita smiling. Smiling in which the teeth are slightly visible is called hasita smiling. One day, Abhimanyu, the so-called husband of Radharani, was returning home, and at that time he could not see that Krishna was there in his house. Krishna immediately changed his dress to look exactly like Abhimanyu, and approached Abhimanyu's mother, Jatila, addressing her thus, quote, "My dear mother, I am your real son, Abhimanyu, but just see, Krishna dressed up like me and is coming before you." End quote. Jatila, the mother of Abhimanyu, immediately believed that Krishna was her own son, and thus became very angry at her real son who was coming home. She began to drive away her real son, who was crying, "Mother, mother, what are you doing?" Seeing this incident, all the girlfriends of Radharani who were present there began to smile, and a portion of their teeth was visible. This is an instance of hasita smiling. When the teeth are distinctly visible in a smile, that is called vihasita. One day when Krishna was engaged in stealing butter and yogurt in the house of Jatila, he assured his friends, quote, "My dear friends, I know that this old lady is now sleeping very profoundly because she is breathing very deeply. Let us silently steal butter and yogurt without making any disturbance." End quote. But the old lady, Jatila, was not sleeping, so she could not contain her smiling, and her teeth immediately became distinctly visible. This is an instance of vihasita smiling. In a state of smiling, when the nose becomes puffed and the eyes squint, this smiling is called avahasita. Once early in the morning, when Krishna returned home after performing his rasa dance, Mother Yashoda looked upon Krishna's face and addressed him thus, quote, "My dear son, why do your eyes look like they have been smeared with some oxides? Have you dressed yourself with blue garments? Have you dressed yourself with the blue garments of Baladev?" End quote. When Mother Yashoda was addressing Krishna in this way, a girlfriend who was nearby began to smile with a puffed nose and squinting eyes. This is an instance of avahasita smiling. The gopi knew that Krishna had been enjoying the rasa dance, and that Mother Yashoda could not detect her son's activities or understand how he had been covered with the gopi's makeup. Her smiling was in the avahasita feature. When tears from the eyes are added to the smiling and the shoulders are shaking, the smile is called apahasita. When child Krishna was dancing in response to the singing of the old maidservant Jarati, Narada was astonished. the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who controls all the movements of great demigods like Brahma, was now dancing to the indications of an old maidservant. Seeing this fun, Narada also began to dance, and his shoulders trembled and his eyes moved. Due to his smiling, his teeth also became visible, and on account of the glaring effulgence from his teeth, the clouds in the skies turned silver. When a smiling person claps his hands and leaps in the air, the smiling expression changes into atihasita, or overwhelming laughter. An example of atihasita was manifest in the following incident. Krishna once addressed Jarati thus, quote, "My dear good woman, the skin of your face is now slackened, and so your face exactly resembles a monkey's. As such, the king of the monkeys, Bali Mukha, has selected you as his worthy wife." End quote. While Krishna was teasing Jarati in this way, she replied that she was certainly aware of the fact that the king of monkeys was trying to marry her, but she had already taken shelter of Krishna, the killer of many powerful demons, and therefore she had already decided to marry Krishna instead of the king of the monkeys. On hearing this sarcastic reply by the talkative Jarati, all the cowherd girls present there began to laugh very loudly and clap their hands. This laughter, accompanied by the clapping of hands, is called atihasita. Sometimes there are indirect sarcastic remarks that also create atihasita circumstances. An example of one such remark is a statement which was made by one of the cowherd girls to Kutila, the daughter of Jatila, the sister of Abhimanyu, and so-called husband of Radharani. Indirectly, Kutila was insulted by the following statement, quote, "My dear Kutila, daughter of Jatila, your breasts are as long as string beans, simply dry and long. Your nose is so gorgeous that it defies the beauty of the noses of frogs, and your eyes are more beautiful than the eyes of dogs. Your lips defy the flaming cinders of fire, and your abdomen is as beautiful as a big drum. Therefore, my dear beautiful Kutila, you are the most beautiful of all the cowherd girls of Vrindavan, and because of your extraordinary beauty, I think you must be beyond the attraction of the sweet blowing of Krishna's flute." End quote. And this is the reading of the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 45, entitled Laughing Ecstasy. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.